This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, it's spring break again. And how do I know that? There are all kinds of viral videos coming out of Florida. Spring break central. Huge brawls, fights, freak-offs, you name it. It's going down in Florida. Terrible stuff. What does it say about the status of our youth? Do they always do this stuff? I mean, I saw Animal House in the late 1970s. I mean, I know our college kids have always been up to something. That was not my own experience. I commuted to Fordham, basically. I did not get a taste of all that fraternity, sorority, what do they call it, Greek life. Never really saw any of that. The stuff that is happening out in the open is pretty intense. Hey, who remembers the girl who got busted on the Coldplay? Right? She went to the concert with her boss, who was her boyfriend. They're both married to other people. Well, she's out there telling her story. Coldplay kiss cams. Kristen Cabot changes story again. Tells Oprah former boss lied to her about marriage. Oh, I'm a victim. She's playing the victim card. How about that one? That one will get you far. Still, I mean, I see right through it. Not everybody does see right through it. Carlos, can we get that person talking, if you don't mind? The victim card is quite the card. Oh, boy, is it fun to play. You know who was trying to play it today? Rand Paul. Rand Paul, the Republican, in name only. Is he even a Republican? Is he a libertarian? What is he? What the hell is he? I'm not saying he's not without his good points, but they're getting harder and harder to find. Now, I must say, I forgot about it. Somebody rang his doorbell and beat him up. I mean, just totally wiped him out. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that Markwayne Mullin needs his vote now. The Republican from Oklahoma, who's going to be the DHS secretary. And right there, and apparently Markwayne Mullin wasn't that nice to him in some of his things that he said. So listen to this. Rand Paul really let him have it. All right, Rand? Hey, is Rand short for Randy? What kind of name is Rand? What is he named for, a multinational corporation? The Rand Corporation? Go ahead. Please.
I was walking into the concert and my daughter...
Stop. We're not going to start with that crazy chick. I want to do the Rand Paul, right? Rand Paul lecturing and harassing Markwayne Mullin about what Markwayne Mullin said. You know, it's too much of our dialogue in this country is about what people say. You said something and I didn't like it. What about doing something? You did something that I don't like. Did. Words. Action. Men of action. Not words. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that about me. Oh, well, you said it on Twitter and you said it to somebody and I... Man up! Go ahead.
Mullin, if you have time to listen, you were confronted by constituents that were angry because you voted against my amendment to stop all funding for refugee welfare programs. Instead of explaining your vote to continue these welfare programs for refugees, you decided to transfer the blame. You told the media that I was a freaking snake and that you completely understood why I had been assaulted. I was shocked that you would justify and celebrate this violent assault that caused me so much pain and my family so much pain. I just wonder if someone who applauds violence against their political opponents is the right person to lead an agency that has struggled to accept limits to the proper use of force. You might argue you were mad and upset about being confronted by your constituents. But Senator Mullen, your constituents are justifiably upset with you. By now, most of America knows that the Somali welfare fraud in Minnesota stole over $9 billion. But instead of defending your vote, you took to continue the vote to continue these refugee welfare programs. You chose to lash out at me. You went on to brag that you'd already told me to my face that you completely understood and approved of the assault. Well, that's a lie. You got a chance today. You can either continue to lie or you can correct the record. You have never had the courage to look me in the eye and tell me that the assault was justified. So today you'll have your chance. Today I'll give you that chance to clear the record. Tell it to my face. If that's what you believe, tell it to me today. Tell the world why you believe I deserve to be assaulted from behind, have 6 ribs broken and a damaged lung. Tell me to my face why you think I deserved it. And while you're at it, explain to the American public why they should trust a man with anger issues to set the proper example for ICE and Border Patrol agents. Explain to the American public how a man who has no regrets about brawling in a Senate committee can set a proper example for over 250,000 men and women who work at the Department of Homeland Security. Senator Peters, you're recognized for your...
Wow. That sounds pretty devastating. A pretty devastating takedown of Markwayne Mullin, who now needs the vote. Would prefer it. I think he can get by without it, but he would be nice to be the new Homeland Security Secretary. So what in the hell is he going to say to that? Markwayne Mullin, it's your turn. Republican of Oklahoma, the DHS nominee. Go.
Before I can start my opening statement, I have to address the remarks the chairman made, calling me a liar. Sir, I think everybody in this room knows that I'm very blunt and direct to the point. And if I have something to say, I'll say it directly to your face. If you recall, back in my House days, we actually did have this conversation because of the remarks that I made. You were in a room. I simply addressed that I said I could understand because of the behavior you were having, that I could understand why the neighbor did what he did. As far as my terms of the snake in the grass, sir, I work around this room to try to fix problems. I've worked with many people in this room. Seems like you fight Republicans more than you work with us. I did address those remarks. I did explain your gimmicks by the amendment you put forth. And as far as me saying that I invoke violence, I don't think anybody should be hit by surprise. I don't like that. But if I do have something to say, everybody in this room knows I'll come straight to you. I'll say it publicly and I'll say it privately, but I'll never say it behind your back. So for you to say I'm a liar, sir, that's not accurate. And I got proof to say that because you have spent millions of dollars in my campaigns against me because we just don't get along. However, sir, that doesn't keep me at all from doing my job. I can have different opinions with everybody in this room, but as Secretary of Homeland, I'll be protecting everybody, including Kentucky, as much as I will my own backyard in Oklahoma. It's bigger than the partisan bickering that we have. It's bigger than the political differences we have. The truth is, I have a job to do, and I don't like to fail at anything at all. So I can set it aside if you're willing to set it aside. Let me earn your respect. Let me earn the job. I won't fail you. I won't back down from a challenge. And I'll also admit when I'm wrong. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I make mistakes just like anybody else. But mistakes, if you own them, you can learn from them and you can move ahead. And I'll make that commitment to you.
Wow. I thought that was very, very powerful. You know, Markwayne Mullin, I've seen him do this, and it's actually really nice. Really, I don't know, but he did once get into somebody's face, and it was really ugly, and he basically challenged him to a fight, and it was not good, and they almost got physical during a committee hearing. And then a few months later, they put out a video of the two of these guys who are at each other's throats, literally making up and getting along and having a laugh and apologizing basically to each other. Maybe that can happen one day between Markwayne Mullin and Rand Paul. Then again, if Rand Paul really did spend millions of dollars to defeat him, that's a tough one to get over, but President Trump can get over it. By the way, I don't necessarily want people who say things behind my back, you know, in my life coming, and you have every right to have negative feelings about me. That's how the world goes round. We can't have everybody going up to each other and saying how they really feel. I don't want that. I mean, and maybe when you're a politician, you really only have the boss is the people, and you get reelected, you keep the job. Maybe you can get away with that, but most people can't. Right? I don't need. Somebody once said, "Your opinion of me is none of my business," and I kind of like that. I do want to do this real quick because it was dopey when America pretended it was outraged, and oh my God, it was funny how they got busted at that Coldplay concert. First of all, why the hell are you going to a Coldplay concert? I know one song by Coldplay. I hate live music. You got to stand up. You got to be there forever. It's like then the parking lot. Who needs it? And oh, by the way, they're always playing something off the new album, which stinks. What else about the live music? I just don't like it. It's too much of an inconvenience. And then when they do play the hits, they play a new version of it. I'd just rather listen to it on my iPhone. So these people go to the thing, and I was a little bit sympathetic toward them because, give me a break. They really, I mean, somebody ran over somebody going home from that concert while they were drunk. And we don't know anything about that, but these two people, it's like pretended they didn't know each other for a second. I guess it was kind of fun. So this is the woman who was being hugged by that guy, and then they're on camera, and then they pretend they don't know each other. Turns out they work together at a high-tech company, and she is in HR. And now, oh yeah, she's claiming victim status. Victim status, shall we? Are you ready? She went to talk to Oprah. Opened her heart to Oprah. Whatever happened to Oprah? She used to have a show. Go ahead.
So you get to the concert, and what happened?
Well, I was walking into the concert, and my daughter messaged me and said, "Oh, it's so great that you and Andrew are both at Coldplay." So she let me know that my estranged husband was also at the concert.
So I think it's very important. This is what I did not know before the story, and y'all obviously didn't know either, that she was separated from her husband, and that her boss was also separated, or said he was separated from his wife. Did y'all know that?
No. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Or that her husband was there. This is the thing. So you get texted from one of your children.
Yeah, my daughter was like, "This is so fun. Great." I was like, and in my mind I thought, well, is this going to be weird if he sees me with Andy? Like that crossed
or you
my
run
mind.
into him.
Yeah, if I run into him. But then I was like, I'm in Gillette Stadium. There's 55,000 people here. I'm probably not going to run into him. But it doesn't matter. I mean, that would have been better at the end of the day if I just run into him. But it's, he knows how closely Andy and I work together. He knows we got lunches and got drinks. It was fine.
So he knew that there was a relationship there.
Yes.
Hey, stop it for a second. I mean, not for nothing, but they're humping. Dinner and drinks and work stuff. No, they're hooking up actively. Don't give me the white. Oprah, you should seize on that one. Get out of the way. I'll take care of it. Keep going.
He knows the nature of my work and the way I've shared desks with the CEOs I've worked with. Like, it's just a very close, and so it didn't matter.
How about beds? Did you share the bedroom? How about that one? I shall be right back. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. The war will be over by the end of next week. I shall return.
Protein is now at Starbucks, and it's never tasted so good. You can add Protein Cold Foam to your favorite drink or try one of our new protein lattes or matcha. Try it today at Starbucks.
I get so many headaches every month.
It could be chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those who have 14 or fewer headache days a month. Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor. Visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
TaxAct can think of a million things more fun than filing taxes. TaxAct is going to name some now. Sitting in traffic. Folding a fitted bedsheet. Listening to your coworker talk about his fantasy team. Digging a hole. Digging an even larger hole next to that original hole. Unfortunately, TaxAct's filing software can't make taxes fun. But TaxAct can help you get them done. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
During Lowe's Pro Savings Days, save more on what goes into the job. Add power to your lineup with a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, and more. Get the job done right. Keep more in your pocket. That's Pro Savings Days. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/27. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Greg Kelly on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So oil prices jumped after Israel struck Iran's South Pars gas field. Have you ever heard of that? The largest such facility in the world, which Tehran shares with Qatar. The attack was designed to cut off an economic pipeline for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Wall Street Journal, Iran's military joint command said it would escalate the war in new ways after the attack, while Qatar's foreign ministry condemned the strikes. Earlier, Israel killed Iran's intelligence minister, the latest member of Tehran's top leadership to be wiped out this week. Wow. Ismail Khatib was described by Israel as having played a significant role in Tehran's crackdown on recent protests. I want this thing to wind down. And what do you have to say here? Sandy, hello.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for taking my call. I'm calling because a few weeks ago or a couple of weeks ago, a caller asked you your feelings about the interview between Huckabee and Tucker Carlson. Mm-hmm. And you said you liked them both. And
Huckabee and Tucker?
Huckabee and Tucker.
Well, I said more than that, but yeah, that's true.
Anything anti-Semitic about Tucker. Do you feel that way still?
Do I feel that way still? It sounds like you're trying to, I don't know, entrap me somehow, right? I mean, a little bit. Like, you know, if I dare say anything about Tucker, I think the bottom line I said was, I will not and I refuse to listen to podcasts all day long. I'm not going to sit down and listen to the 3-hour conversation between Huckabee and Tucker. I also can't listen to the 4-hour conversation between him and Nick Fuentes. I just can't do it. All right. Now, there are people that I am friendly with who don't talk to me anymore because of my politics. I know how that feels. I'm just, look, with Joe Kent, this son of a bitch was the national director of counterterrorism. Tucker hosts a podcast. It's a podcast. All right. People say things on a podcast, and it's not up to me, or I am not in a position to like, I condemn what I just am not going to do it. And yeah, I do like Tucker. He has shown kindness toward me, and I can't go deep, and I'm not going to go deep. I'm going to cut some people. I don't know. I mean, he's not talking about this is how I feel. All right. Does that make sense? Is it a cop out? Maybe it is. I have not heard him advocate genocide. I haven't heard anything like that. But I just can't spend all my time, listening to things and then getting angry about them. How about you, Sandy?
Tucker is singing the same song as Kent.
But Kent is different. Kent is in a position of power. First of all, the thing that I found most obtuse and most rejectionable, whatever, the no notice, I'm leaving today. You got a very sensitive job, right? And I'm leaving because of the Iran war. But the Iran war has nothing to do with the job that he holds, right? And then, all that stuff about Israel, I don't agree. And I think he probably has been listening to the podcast. But that's the three things on the list that I pointed out. That was one of them, but the first two stand. But you understand the difference between a guy who does podcasts and a guy who actually works for the federal government and national security, right?
Absolutely. But Tucker has a huge audience, and he influences a lot of people.
So does Candace Owens. So do a lot, you know what I mean? And they read books and they go to the library. I can't just monitor and be outraged all the time on that, especially with somebody I kind of like.
One sweet, melty bite of a Hershey's bar, and suddenly I'm right back sitting on the front porch with my grandmother on a slow summer afternoon. She doesn't say much, just breaks the bar in half and hands me a piece. I open my mouth to say whatever a 9-year-old wants to say, and she replies with a low, shh, listen. So we sat there, listening. That was the first time I learned that quiet can feel full.
Hershey's, it's your happy place.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's not that important because we know he's a clown and we know he's a fool, but Gavin Newsom is crashing and burning. Not many people are noting it. Not many people are documenting it, but they will. They will, because no matter what happens when he runs for president, and he will, it's going to be a crowded field. AOC, Pete Buttigieg, probably Amy Klobuchar, who the hell else? Kamala Harris, AOC, did we mention, right? And plenty of others. It's going to be crowded. And, that's one time where Democrats aren't that nice to each other, right? It's going to be very competitive. Remember when Kamala was on stage and basically called Joe Biden a racist? Remember that? It was yelling and screaming at Joe Biden. Then they go through each other's background and they find stuff. And one of the things they do, although I wonder if they really do it anymore because it's hard, is sit down and read each other's books. Now, really, you should have a top person doing that, but they delegate it to kids, and kids don't know what's important, what's not important, and they miss things. Some of the dynamite stuff that is in this book, his own admission, Gavin Newsom saying things that, wow, I can't believe this guy. One of the most, he tries to neutralize the whole, I have disabilities thing. I have disabilities. And therefore, vote for him because sympathy or, oh, wow, he's just like me. Well, President Trump kind of blew that out of the water, right? You can't have disabilities and be the president of the United States. That's one area where you're not supposed to. In fact, I don't want him to be an ordinary person. I want him to be an extraordinary, or her to be an extraordinary person, although probably, quite frankly, I want it to be a him. Cut 20, if you don't mind. Cut 20.
Because Gavin Newsom has admitted that he has learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but not for my president. I think a president should not have learning disabilities, okay? And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The president of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia, everything about him is dumb. But then he looked at the audience and said, "But I'm smarter than you," or something like that. That was pretty silly. So now on top of everything else, I call him a racist because it happened to be a black audience. I will tell you this. I think it was the worst interview I've ever seen of any human being in my life, okay?
So you saw that clip, but here's Gavin Newsom, and he says all kinds of crazy things about his disability. He shouldn't really talk about it. The most damning thing, though, in the book, let's play the part about him with a disability. And it's in the same podcast, in his own podcast, which is a scandal right there. He does a podcast on weekday mornings when he's the governor of California. And everything about him, he's so self-absorbed. It's a podcast about himself. All right, we got this 20 seconds later. We're going to do the first 10 seconds, okay? Listen to what he says.
You won't see me in a podcast with notes. Right. Because, again, spatially, I can't look down. And then when...
Okay, you won't see me in a podcast with notes because spatially, I can't look down. 2 minutes later, he's got notes, and he says this.
And then what I'll do is I'll take what's underlined, and then I'll put it out. And this is literally an actual example. I'll just put in pieces of paper everything underlined, and then I'll do that for hours and hours and hours. And then eventually I'll put it on a little yellow card, which will have just quick notes, and then it's in my head.
I don't take notes. I can't take notes. I can't look down at notes, but he looks down at notes. Now he's going to quibble. He's going to say, well, I was all about memorizing things or something like that. The man is a disaster. He's a disaster in every way. Now, he becomes mayor of, San Francisco, right? In 2003 or so. To be the mayor of San Francisco, that's a political accomplishment. And he admits in his book how he got it. Willie Brown, out of the blue, called him up and said, do you want to be on the Board of Supervisors? And he says, I don't know why Willie Brown offered me this job. I had to think about it. Now, being named to the Board of Supervisors is kind of a big deal. He says that Willie Brown did know his father, and he says also that Willie Brown named Gavin Newsom because of affirmative action. Because San Francisco is so weird and warped and different and crazy that he would be the only straight male on the board. He would be the only straight male. Everybody else was gay, transgender and Asian, transgender and black, transgender, just all those things. It turned out he is an affirmative action hire. And how he walks into all of these opportunities just thrown at him because he's tall and sharp looking. That's it. Now, I've seen this in my own life, by the way. You see how good-looking people are sometimes treated, right? Especially, by the way, in the female department. The women who are hot, men make fools out of themselves trying to do right by them, help them or whatever. What often happens is the men who are doing favors for the younger girls find out about the other men who are doing favors for the younger girls, and then they get mad at the younger girls. And that has its own negative connotation and consequences. It's best not to make friends with people of the opposite sex, quite frankly. It's best not to do that. You could say that's whatever, but I think it's the way to go. You can't be friends. Everybody's thinking about something. Now, one of the great content providers is this dude called The Content Machine. And he's always putting up these conversations he has with his girlfriend, and they're kind of fascinating. It's there's something about these give and takes, okay? I want you to hear this, okay? So you got a hot girl in sweatpants on her couch. It's kind of cartoon version, and this dude with a black T-shirt, okay? Go ahead.
Leo's 50 and dating a 25-year-old again. That's so creepy.
Creepy. Interesting word.
He's a predator. Those girls are barely adults.
They're 25. Legal adults. With agency.
Gross. He only dates girls under 25.
Under 25? What were you looking for at 25?
What? That's different.
Let's see your Hinge profile. Age 25, filter set 2. 35 to 45. Established men, your words. Apply the following edit.
I wanted someone mature, someone with their life together.
Right, you wanted their money and status. At 25, that wasn't creepy?
That's NOT the same thing!
You spent your 20s chasing older men, now you're mad they're still dating women your age. He's not creepy, he's just not picking you anymore. You can't spend your 20s chasing older men and your 30s shaming them.
Damn! There's something to that. And the older men who are drawn to women in their 20s, now why is that? Well, from a primal kind of viewpoint, evolutionary viewpoint, 25-year-old women are at their peak in terms of mating, right? In terms of offspring, right? Now, men probably as well in terms of erectile and sperm and all that stuff. However, in terms of like supporting dependence, the 25-year-old and the pending offspring, who can do that better? Another 25-year-old or, say, a 50-year-old with man with a little bit of gray hair and some status and some experience and money? You see how that works? So what Leo DiCaprio, that's what they're talking about, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a reflective of nature, to be honest. Now, Leo could get shot by his own gun in all of this because at some point the woman's going to be 40 and Leo's going to be 70, right? And that's not going to be so sexy anymore. And the woman might, come up with other pursuits that could conflict with her marital responsibilities. Yes, John in Floral Park, which happens to be the hometown, Floral Park, Long Island, of John Williams, the famed composer who did the theme of Star Wars and Superman. Did you know that, John? Are you John Williams?
I used to go. He used to have night at the movies up in Massachusetts, the Berkshires, every year. You sat out there and you listened to all his songs and themes, and I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
You went there and you didn't know he was from Floral Park?
No, I didn't know he was from Floral Park.
Yeah, he might have lived around the block. His dad was a clarinet player in the city, and I think a music teacher at Sewanaka High School. And John Williams. I thought John Williams was like some sort of prince from Scotland. And no, just a guy from Floral Park. It's so cool. Anyway, what's up?
I just wanted to thank you. I really appreciate listening to you. That last call you had with Sandy, who was looking to have a Joe Kent moment with you. Like if you said the wrong thing about Tucker or not, that you had to, you're not a people pleaser. You're honest. You're the first person that would comment about yourself. Like when you said that, is this a cop out? Maybe, with your answer. And I just love it. I really appreciate it. You're honestly, you're legit. You're, it's great to listen to.
Well, thank you, pal. Very, very much. When you remind me, Floral Park reminds me, and thank you, and what you just said reminds me of a guy I grew up with named Dan Sheehan, and he lived, I think, by Adelphi University, and he told me what his dad said about telling the truth. When you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said, And I just found that very, wow, that makes a lot of sense, because I was fibbing left and right back then. John, so kind of you, and that's what we're aiming for here. That's what I'm about, and I appreciate it. Francis, hello. Is he there?
Yes. Hello. There's two things I want to bring up.
All right, relax a little bit. Just do me a favor, not too intensely. I remember you. Just let's have it nice and breezy, okay? You can be very intense, all right? Nice and breezy. So.
I heard what you said about live music, and I agree. I can't stand live music. It's all a bunch of garbage.
All right. Well, I didn't say that, but okay. Good. We're making progress here, Francis. Usually you're yelling and screaming by this point in the conversation. Okay, so we agree. We're not fans of live music. Anything else?
Yes. The other thing is, a couple of weeks ago you were talking about printers, installing printers. At the department store, I installed every damn printer on all those computers.
Why are you so upset about that? Why would you be so upset all these years later? All I was saying is it's hard, right? It's difficult. You're a professional. For a layman like me, when it comes to computers, it's still challenging. And I think it's an erroneous word. They shouldn't say install the printer. I mean, I bought the printer. It's sitting there. I don't have to slide it into a slot. And I got to make sure my computer prints. And they say install it. I think that's the wrong word, but all right. And you did that, and what happened next?
No, the point I'm trying to make is, if you need help installing a printer, I will help you.
All right, but I don't think that's a good idea for you to come over to my house under any circumstances. I mean, you let's face it, pal. You're yelling and screaming all the time. I mean, would you come over and be nice? Big question mark on that one. All right. Francis, I take it back. What a generous offer. But you're all the way out on Long Island, and I don't know if we're actually going to wind up doing that. Let me do one more. Keith, hello.
How are you? First-time caller. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Biggest question that I have, which really aggravates me, and I just wanted to get your opinion, is why do so many people who live in America hate America and hate the institution? And I just don't get it and leave.
Yeah, it's a great question. Why is it so fashionable to not be in America? I think we're the only country like this, where you can rise to power by bad-mouthing America, by ripping it apart. The Joe Biden, Democrats, that's what they do. You know, Kamala Harris, I can guarantee you she wasn't talking about racism when she was the attorney general and all this stuff, right? But to get real power on the Democrat side, you have to decry the country that gave you everything. And why do they do that? Why is that? I understand we're free and open and people can say things, but why is that often a route to status? There is something known as white guilt. And you know what? It probably isn't just in America. It's in Northern Europe, right? And people have a tendency to somehow feel bad about having a lot, right? Having things, having status, working hard, somehow people feel bad. That's a fascinating question. Like, why is that? Why the hell is that? Why is that encouraged? I mean, I know how it happens with the academia and our culture and all that stuff, but why? Do you have any theories on it, Keith?
I think part of it is that it becomes a divisive tool that is taught at a young age, unfortunately, and it's a rallying cry. But we could never go to another country and act like that or speak like that. And yeah, we know the First Amendment guarantees certain speech, but you're speaking about the institution that's provided you safety, security, and a homeland. And so if this isn't your homeland, leave. I think it's become fashionable because it's led by people that are ignorant, and a lot of those people are not from here.
It's also by people who are from here. And yes, it's divisive and it can be used as a tool. But your original question, I'm fascinated by why? Why? Like, why? And how? I mean, the how I kind of know. There's more to it. It's a fascinating, it's wild. President Xi didn't become the president of China by bad-mouthing China, neither Putin or whatever, but, and you don't become the president. There are other ways to be powerful other than being a president and all that stuff. Fascinating. Let me noodle on that one. You're the best, Keith. Thank you. We'll be right back with the legendary Bo Dietl. We were talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. He knows all about Leo. They're good friends. He's also a great law enforcement legend. All right. And he's helping President Trump on Homeland Security. We'll be right back.
When you want your spring break to feel like, and your kids' pool day to feel like, and your hotel bed to feel like, ooh, and room service to feel like, because at Hilton, hospitality feels like...
Your cabana's ready. Would you like fresh towels?
It matters where you stay. Book now at Hilton.com. Hilton, for the stay.
You've been there, settling in for an evening of TV only to waste half the night scrolling. Enter Fire TV, entertainment with zero effort required. Fire TV serves up personalized recommendations from across all your apps. Not sure what to watch? Just tell Alexa Plus what you're in the mood for and she'll pull up the perfect recommendation. Problem solved. Stop the scroll, start the show. Find what you're looking for with Fire TV. Subscriptions may be required.
Every rep starts the same. Your limits are real, but so is your potential. New unrestricted power training gear from Lululemon, built with our most powerful fabric. Every push is supported, so you can drive through the hardest presses. Every squat and lift, unrestricted, flexing and stretching for max range of motion. In the gym, you don't know what you're truly capable of yet. Get into unrestricted power and find out. Now online at Lululemon.com.
This episode is brought to you by Venmo.
with the Venmo debit card, a taco in one hand, and ordering a ride in the other means you're stacking your rewards. Nice. Get up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on your favorite brands when you pay with your Venmo debit card. Pick a bundle with your go-tos and start earning cash back. Do more stash, get more cash. Visit Venmo.com to learn more. Venmo Stash Bundle. Terms and exclusions apply. See terms at venmo.me/terms. Max $100 cash back per month.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, we're back with our friend, the legendary law enforcement pro Bo Dietl in private investigations. He's also helping the President of the United States. He is a Homeland Security advisor. There's a special committee, advisory council, and he's on it. He has the ear of the President of the United States. Welcome back, Bo. How you doing?
Greg, always a pleasure. I listen to you religiously. I love you, man. I love your father and your mother.
Well, we go way back. You know what? I'll never forget where I was when I first met you after, wait a second, Bo Dietl from the movie? From Goodfellas? Turn the car up slowly. Perfect. So good. Bo, tell us about the idea you just ran by the President of the United States. It's brilliant.
Well, you know, with all this turmoil of what happened, and I was the first one to say what happened in Minnesota was we should never brought Border Patrol guys in inner cities. Let them stay on the border. They're the judge, jury, and executioners there. Leave them there. You go into a liberal city like that, it was bound to happen. So I said, Mr. President, why don't we show some compassion? People that self-deported when we requested without criminal records, they said one day you could come back. I said, I want to spearhead. I'll bring the first 1,000 back. We'll check their records, bring them back, let them live, because a lot of them have families here and they didn't want to get in trouble, so they self-deported. He said, Bo, what a great idea. And he put me in touch with Stephen Miller. And we're just waiting for the new guy to get sworn in, the new senator,
Mark Wayne Mullen, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Wayne Mullen. I'm supposed to meet with him next when he gets sworn in. And I brought this, I would have been working with Kristi Noem on it. She's not there. So I'm looking forward to working with Mark Wayne Mullen.
It's a great idea. Bring them back fast. They did the right thing, and now we're bringing them back, and that's the right thing. You had another idea about this whole TSA hang-up that we got in the big lines at the airport.
Well, people don't understand. Everybody's talking about ICE and what happened in Minnesota. That's beyond. We've given them everything, including Plughead Schumer and that other guy, Jeffries, whatever the hell his name is. Point is right now, ICE has nothing to do with it. They are funded. Right now, who's being hurt are the American public. The safety and security of America is at stake. The CISA, that's the computer thing, yeah. Your Secret Service, TSA, all these things now are being affected. And who is the ones that are victims? The Americans. These Democrats are doing it. And when you go in long lines to the airport, when you wait 4 hours, you can thank one people. The Democrats, they will not let go. And it's all about one thing, Greg. It's about going after President Trump. It has nothing else to do with it.
But let me ask you, because you had a creative and interesting theory on how to fix this.
Yeah. Well, I said this all along. First of all, if you get real good professional people, you don't need so many. You don't need 20 guys standing there having coffee. What we should do is they have to retire from the federal government at 57. Bring them into the TSA and pay them double. They only make about $35,000 a year, the TSA workers. Pay them double. I could do it with half the amount of people, and we'll have a more professional TSA.
Interesting. Now, I will say this. A lot of people like to, junk all over the TSA agents. I personally think they're great. I really do. It's easy to pick on, and people associate the long lines with them. I like them, but I also like your idea, right? Because we can always do things more efficient and bring on some older, more experienced people to augment what we got now. I like it, Bo. Keep it up, Bo Dietl, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?